So next up, Chidinma, if you could please share your journey.
Absolutely. Hi, Shannon, and hi, everyone. I am so thrilled to be part of this group today. And I am part of the class of 2020, the EMBA class of 2020, and it was the last class that started before the pandemic. So we had about, I think, 70% of in-person classes, and then the last semester, obviously that happened. So it was a bit of a transition, but let me take a step back and tell you a little bit about myself. So I was born in Nigeria and I grew up in the UK. And so my background professionally was actually in computer science. That was my undergraduate degree. And then I worked in risk management in the financial industry, both in London and New York. And so long story short, I changed careers and ended up in medicine. So my role is a pulmonary and critical care physician at UCLA. I've been doing that I was doing that for about 6 years when it started feeling a little bit like grunt work to me. I felt like I wasn't really making an impact in the way I wanted to impact my patients. I felt frustrated because there were a lot of non-clinical people making decisions that really directly affected how I treated my patients. And lo and behold, a lot of them were MBAs. The MBA was not a foreign concept to me. I did my residency at Yale. And during that time, they do have a healthcare MBA, and that was the only other one I considered doing. But obviously now being on the East Coast, on the West Coast, it didn't make sense. I work for UCLA, so I looked into the Anderson program, and after speaking with a couple of people there, it seemed like it made sense to go through. As a pulmonary critical care physician, obviously my workload is already quite high, but I decided to go for it. Life is short, and that's one thing I know certainly from my job. So I applied. I got in pretty early, around December of 2018. I found out I got it, and I accepted. And guess what happened? I got pregnant, and so I actually started off the program about 5 months pregnant, and it was interesting going through that. The first year, it was a high workload. I continued working, so you're doing nights on call in the ICU while doing the MBA and being incredibly nauseated. I had my baby in December of 2019. And so it actually was perfect how it worked out, because I finished my classes. I remember taking the stats final and then 2 days later giving birth. And then we had a 3-week break over the holiday, and then I came right back in afterwards. So that was a little bit to manage, but it was doable. I think one thing the program has taught me is that our capacity to do work, my capacity to do work, is really quite high, and it makes you, if nothing else, incredibly efficient. I'm not speaking just for the UCLA program. I think most MBA programs will teach you that. But for me, obviously, this has been my experience. Not only efficient, but it actually allows you to figure out what matters to you, what the big stuff is that you sweat and the little things that you can just kind of let go. So that's just a plug for MBA programs in general. During the program, my favorite class there were 2 classes: the organizational behavior, which is almost like a psychology class for institutions, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. In addition to a negotiations class. One thing you'll learn going through that, it's actually an elective, is that every single encounter you have is a negotiation. And seeing it from that perspective and understanding the psychology behind negotiations has been really crucial in allowing me to do the pivot that I was looking to do work-wise. So speaking a little bit more about that pivot, when I started the program, I was 100% clinical, and I talked about the reasons why I wanted to do the program. Very quickly, about a year in, I started having conversations with my divisional chief, and basically made it very clear that I have these new skill sets, and I have the capacity and ability to do more. And so I was able to become the regional director for my group, and then I took on a different role, which was actually a quality role, quality director for the Department of Medicine at UCLA. And what that looked like was I could actually think a little bit more strategically about the work we were doing, So rather than just being sort of a worker bee doing my day-to-day work, I could take a step back and come up with programs that actually helped improve the quality of care we're delivering to all our patients, not just our lung patients. So that's been an incredibly rewarding role that I have been in over the last couple of years. And that's obviously continued since the pandemic started. So other things, biggest learning points for me in terms of the value it's given me. And what I mean by that is the understanding that my voice is not just my voice matters, but my voice is necessary. There's a reason why, as a woman with my experience, I have a seat at the table. As a woman who's a Black woman with my experience, I have a seat at the table. And my perspective is incredibly crucial to share at that seat. If I'm not speaking up, I'm doing a disservice to the person who would have that seat there. And so I think that perspective has really come about and become very clear to me going through the program. And it's allowed me to be able to pitch a lot of ideas and actually do a lot of things, implement a lot of initiatives that otherwise I think I would have kept quiet about in the past. So that was really been the biggest learning value. And then the other piece of it, I think, is one I touched on earlier, is increasing my capacity and bandwidth to get things done. They always say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. That's what you're going to be at the end of the program. You're going to be that busy person that just has an incredible ability to execute and execute at a high ability. And I think that's one thing that I've certainly gained from the program. So I'm going to pause there.
Wow, thank you, Chidinma. I had forgotten about you being pregnant, so thank you for that. A reminder that I know an inspiration. We talk to a lot of women who come to the program who say, I'm thinking about starting a family or going to be having a family in the program. So incredible to hear your perseverance through that. And I love you talking about, I hear a lot from on these panels and from my conversation with students is that this kind of priceless confidence that you get from this program and just understanding how valuable your voice is and how much it matters and the unique perspective that you can bring. So thank you for reflecting that for those prospects who are on the call today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.